the court, by a 6-3 majority vote, said that two Arizona measures, one, a state law that limits who can collect ballots to put in the mail for someone else, and the other involving ballots that are cast in the wrong precinct by voters. They're tossed out in Arizona, they're not counted. The court said that neither of those things is racially discriminatory under the Voting Rights Act. And a lower court had ruled that they were racially discriminatory, that they had disproportionately affected Black, Hispanic, and Native American voters. The court's majority today said that wasn't the case, that those policies, the law and the policy, or a modest burden at best, is what Justice Samuel Alito wrote for the majority of the court. The case was especially closely watched because it's a case filed under Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, which is a nationwide law that prohibits racially discriminatory voting laws. And really at the heart of this case is the standard that you need to prove these kinds of violations. Election law experts have said that the court's ruling today will make it harder to prove those kinds of violations, though not impossible. It also has already fueled calls from some Democrats in Congress anew to pass voting rights legislation that has been blocked by Senate Republicans. In Justice Alito's opinion for the court, he did say that the court was not laying down one single test, but he did say that ordinary voting laws, even if they impose modest burdens on voters, shouldn't be taken to be racially discriminatory, even if they somehow disproportionately affect minority voters. Now, Justice Elena Kagan, in a scathing dissent, wrote that the court had really weakened the law and that it was the second time in 8 years. 8 years ago, the court took away a very effective part of the voting rights law by which the Justice Department or a federal court had to give advance approval to any changes to voting laws in states, mostly in the South, that had a history of racial discrimination. In 2013, the court took that away, but left in place another part of the law, Section 2. That was the part of the law at issue today. And while that provision remains standing, it does appear from today's ruling that it will be harder to prove racial discrimination going forward.